Good morning and welcome to Sydney Parade. It is a sunny Wednesday. What a great way to spend the hump day of the week. Down here in Sydney Parade to watch the Interprovincials. Match is going to kick off in about 10 minutes time and we'll be with you then. For the moment, I would just wonder, just 1 second. First game up today in the Interprovincial series, the IP20s, is the Northwest Warriors taking on the Northern Knights. We saw the Northern Knights yesterday. They fell to defeat to a very strong performance from the Leinster Lightning. And we've yet to see the Northwest Warriors in action this festival. Looking forward to that today. And in fact, the Northern Knights have won the toss and have elected to bowl. And therefore, the first sight of the Northwest Warriors will be with the bat. So we'll see how that progresses. A couple of housekeeping points. Firstly, there will be a bit of background construction noise. Pembroke's ground undergoing major redevelopment with the addition of new dugouts for Monkstown Football Club's main pitch, but also the second pitch here in Pembroke, used by the junior and schoolboy sides, that's being moved today. So there's lots of slate being moved and artificial wickets and the such like. Busy lads down there, but there will perhaps be a bit of noise associated with that as well. As regards our graphics, well, we're on NV graphics, NV Play today. And we shall see how that progresses. Not ideal from our point of view, but we make do with what we have. There's Dale McDonough, man in charge of the grounds, and what a great job he's done. The place looks absolutely fabulous today. It really does. There's a good sense of cricket ground about it, with the advertising hoardings around the ground and beautiful wicket prepared. Wicket number 7 here in Sydney Parade, which won't mean much to many of you, but I can tell you that that's the pitch that is closest to the rugby pitch. Used for interprovincials and first team games. And in fact, tomorrow night, the Pembroke women's first 11 will be playing on this very pitch, to be followed then by 2 games between Balbriggan and Pembroke for the men's firsts. One of those games in the Leinster Senior Cup and the other is in the league. So a vital weekend for both Pembroke and Balbriggan as they lie 1 and 2 in the table at the moment. There is the Northwest Warriors. They're camped out in their tents. There's tents down by the Willfield Road end of the ground, and they'll be picking up some nice sunshine down there for the morning. Northern Knights now preparing to come onto the field, and we shall see if they can redeem themselves after yesterday's defeat. The way the IP20 is running at the moment, well, this is game 8, although it is the 3rd game to be played. One game was played in Breedy, a 16-over game that the Leinster Lightning defeated the Warriors in, and that has left the Leinster Lightning in a very good position at the top of the table. Between that victory against the Northwest in Breedy and the victory yesterday against the Northern Knights means that the Leinster Lightning are 2-0, whereas the other 2 sides are both 0 and 1. They'll both be looking to break their duck here today. Leinster School's final is on today across the road in Railway in Park Avenue, and I'm sure that we'll be getting updates on that as and when the game is played. So that's the housekeeping done. All we're waiting for now is the umpires to decide that it is 11:15, the official start time for today's game. We do have similar umpires to yesterday, although they have swapped roles. Kay Sumra is now the 3rd umpire, meaning that Azim Ali Beg and Aidan Sievers will be the men in charge in the middle. Graham McCrae is the match referee, and very resplendent he looks in his blazer. Morning. And today's scorers, Andrew Mooney and James Martin take over from yesterday's scorers Stella Downs and Angela Mooney. Of course, no game can go ahead without the officials, and we thank them for their time here today. Another thing that this game can't go ahead without is the medical team. And we do have an ambulance on site, and let's hope that that's the last we see of it today. But many thanks to them for being here also. Many thanks, of course, to Pembroke sponsor, CJK. Been sponsor of the club now for a number of years and have done some fabulous work around the place, as well as providing financial assistance. For those of you out there, you realise that this game is on the Pembroke YouTube channel, and we're here as volunteers covering this game for you without financial consideration, I think is the official phrase, or unofficial phrase. Take it as you will. So we'll see how that goes. There is a link for donations to enable Niall perhaps to buy a new tripod for his camera, as the one he has is, well, funny thing to say about a tripod, but it's on its last legs. It's on its first legs as well, but it could definitely do with replacing and perhaps updating a camera or two if we could. But we'll see how that goes. So as I say, if you wish to donate, there is a link in the description for this on YouTube. Well, we can only be a couple of minutes away now. The umpires are emerging from their tent. Last minute discussion. Also looking particularly fetching in their black and purple today. The Knights again will be in their blue and red gear, and the Northwest Warriors, well, they're in the green. The umpires and the Northern Knights are taking to the field, and we will shortly have a couple of batsmen coming away from the tent, and they'll take their place in the middle also. I suspect the Northwest Warriors captain, Andrew Balbirnie, will be one of those coming out to bat now. And we will show some graphics which show the batting and bowling figures as we did yesterday. So yes, Andrew Balbirnie very definitely striding towards the nursery end, and he will be taking the first ball. Andrew Balbirnie has proved to be a great success with the Northwest Warriors, scored a lot of runs last year, and, well, the C1 must have just docked at Sydney Parade, because C1 bus, because we're getting a fair few supporters coming in, walking into the ground now, looking to catch this action. If you are available today, I would certainly recommend coming down. It's a super spot and super weather, and we're hoping for super cricket too. Tom Mays it will be to start the bowling for the Northern Knights. He'll be bowling from the St John's end, and as I say, Andrew Balbirnie, and he's been joined in the middle by Ralston. Ralston is one of the leading run scorers in this competition, albeit with just a couple of games played. Mays goes short with his first ball, and Balbirnie straight onto it. He's pulled it over to the leg side. There is no cover there, and it's just pulled up inside the boundary. A fine piece of fielding, and shows the level of commitment here for the Interprovincials. Good start, and Balbirnie off the mark with 2 from the first delivery. Here is that ball being chased to the boundary. Pulled up inside. This time going to the offside. and again looking for 2 and picking up 2 quite handily. Fielder out on the boundary doing his job at chasing up and down. There could be a bit more of that for him during the day. The live chat is open. However, you do have to have been a subscriber to Pembroke Cricket Live for 7 days before you can comment on these games here. And Balbirnie, he's dealing very well at the moment. No dot balls. He moves on to 5, as does the total. Andrew Balbirnie recognisable in his usual shirt number of 63. Ralston, the left-hander now, will take a middle guard and face his first delivery. Good bouncer, goes through. Azim Ali Beg telling him that's his 1 for the over. And where Balbirnie used his extra height to get on top of such deliveries, Ralston seeing that one fly over his shoulder. As I say, plenty of construction noise in the background today. And that's a lovely shot. Straight back drive. And nobody's going to stop that. Through the covers, down to Cyril's way. Lovely, lovely shot for Ralston. And he's off the mark. And this is a good over. A good start for the Northwest Warriors. They'll be pleased with the way this has gone so far. Better delivery and well defended. And at the end of the first over, the Northwest Warriors will be the happier of the 2 teams. 9 without loss after 1 over. On a personal note, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who tuned in yesterday. I was absolutely blown away by the viewing figures. The game between the Leinster Lightning and the Northern Knights attracting 14,000 views, and at one stage there were 858 devices connected to that YouTube broadcast. Balbirnie again, not allowing a dot ball, getting through for the single. Well, that is a cracking shot, and Ralston showing why he is on the high score charts. Belts that one away for a beautiful boundary. Got into position and took it nicely there. Reuben Wilson bowling from the nursery end. And this time a bit of width. Allows the left-hander to take the single. This one sliding across the batsman down the leg side, first wide of the game. Well, the Warriors are certainly in a rush at the moment. Things going very well for them. Another boundary for Balbirnie. Gives himself a little bit of room, but plays with a straight bat and straight down the V. Classical. Just goes to show that there's still room for proper cricket shots in T20 cricket.
Get it straight at the camera.
And, 20 is on the board now. Wilson again sliding down the leg side. The umpires with no leeway there. Another run onto the total. Pembroke Cricket Live, being part of Leinster, Cricket Leinster, we tend to use cricket clubs for our statistics and graphics. Whereas the NCU, the Northwest and Cricket Island, they use NV Play. And as a license for NV Play is, well, prohibitively expensive. Well, Pembroke would only use it in the All-Ireland Cup, and we keep getting drawn away from home. That draw will take place on Sunday as the wicketkeeper does some fine work to prevent byes, diving back across himself. And at the end of the second over, the score now has moved on to 22 without loss. And a very good over for the Northwest Warriors. Mays will continue from the St John's end as I feel the workers may be on a tea break. 11s, I suppose. That will be the call now. Background noise has definitely gone down. It's hard to believe we are just 5 kilometres away from the city centre of a major European capital city. Oh, it's in the air and it's been put down. Wilson it was, fielding down in front of the bar windows, and the flick from Balbirnie finds the turf, and that is the first drop of the day. Balbirnie's heart would have been in his mouth for a second there when he saw the fielder, but it just slipped from his grasp. You can see the sunlight and the cloud cover fighting for supremacy on the ground. Cloud cover winning at the moment. Ralston looking for cow corner. It has plugged there, but still has enough just to reach the rope. Perhaps a little bit too much height and not enough distance, but either way, it managed to reach the rope. And as another patch of sunlight runs across the ground like an errant child. The Warriors certainly going about this opening partnership in a very positive frame of mind. This occasion, looking to put it down to the nursery end. Ralston unable to catch up with it, and the intent was there. He's there early, looking to ramp, but the bowler, well, Tom May's doing a very good job of just cramping him up, not allowing him the freedom to get bat on ball. He was looking for a ramp or scoop, one of them newfangled shots. And the end of the over. Oh, rather than the end of the over, it's 1 for the over. The score has moved on to 27 now. Ralston on 13 and Balbirnie on 12. Live scoring appears to be back to us now. Wow, cracked away square. That looks like a shot he's played before, and I'm sure he has. 4 more onto the total. 31 now. And Boyd Rankin, the coach of the Northwest Warriors, will be no doubt delighted to see such a positive start from his openers. Just the one chance given so far. It wasn't taken by the Knights. And what a difference that might have made. But certainly at the moment, these two batsmen doing exceptionally well. Again, Ralston looking to go behind with a big swinging bat, but instead just picks up the wide. He's going to connect with one of those soon, and people on Sandymount Dart Station platform are going to have to watch out. Much fuller ball on this occasion. May's doing his own fielding, and that will conclude the third over with the score on 31 without loss. It's 2 overs for Mays now. The question being, will the Knights keep him on for another over, or will they make the change there? Spin seemed to do a very positive job for the Leinster Lightning yesterday with Dockrell and Hoey. Dockrell so economical, and Hoey, well, hunting down wickets. And we are going to see a change. Cian Robertson with left arm spin would appear to be the captain's choice. Wilson just the 1 over. Did go for 13. Oh, that's just cleared. Mays, he was on the edge of the ring, but Balbirnie had enough on it. As Cian Hilton readjusts his attire. Nice shot, just enough on it to get it over Mays. And the assault continues. Boundary follows boundary. It's the fast adjustment of his feet there by Balbirnie allowed him to play that ball around the corner. And once he made that solid contact, he knew it'd gone for 4. .40 on the board. And the sunshine has returned. Oh, another boundary. 4-4-4 from Balbirnie. Looking to pile on the misery, having given a life. So often the case. Kean Robinson making a few changes to his field, unsurprisingly. And staying with the unsurprising, Robertson firing that one in on the batsman's pads. After last night's Leinster Lightning Northern Knights game, of course, the Women's T20 World Cup continued in Southampton. Continued with Ireland taking on England. Batting first, they managed to reach 118. Mainly in part to fine innings at the end by Lou Little, Pembroke's own Lou Little. Delighted for her, delighted for the team. At one stage they looked like they were going to struggle to make 100, but they managed to get up to nearly a run a ball. And they did put the English under some pressure. They were 35 for 3 in chase. But then a good stand saw them very close to the finish, and eventually they got there for the loss of 6 wickets. And it ended up being a good performance, but unfortunately a 19th defeat in World Cup finals for the Irish women. They return to the playing surface in Southampton on Friday, when they will be taking on the Kiwis. The Kiwis not having a great competition there, 0-2 as well. So that could be a good game. Ralston just playing half a shot, but it's enough to get him a single. Tom May's into his 3rd now. Northern Knights deciding to persist with him. Sorry, my apologies. Reuben Wilson it is who has swapped ends. A little bit of everything in there. Good appeal. And a well-taken single. All 3 stumps visible. You could see the moment there on that replay when Andrew Balbirnie decided that, oh, better get on a bit quicker. Went to walk through for a single and ended up being quite hurried. Well, that's a super shot. Super adjustment from the batsman. He saw where the ball was and decided he could put that away. Cut it down towards the scorers. And another boundary, and boundaries are certainly flowing. Gave himself plenty of room and then just decided to lift it down towards the scorers. The scorers in that shed would have worried for a moment that it might have come in and joined them. Not to be. Bernie backing up a long way, was sent back by his partner, and well, the 50 partnership is up now. A few people coming down to watch this game this morning, and we thank those of you who have joined us online. Alston throwing his hands at the bat, possibly the kitchen sink at that one, not making the contact he wanted, but it was enough to get him through to the non-striker's end, another single. As I say, 50 up already, 50 partnership in the 5th over. Wilston is now top of the run scoring charts. And Wilson finishes his over. As Balbirnie pulls out of the shot he intended, stayed away from that one, let it go through, and the score after 5 overs is 51. Adam Leckie now being brought into the attack. Last over of the power play. Just 2 men outside the circle, the 30-yard circle, for these opening overs. Both men quite square of the wicket. So Ralston goes straight, and it bounces twice and lands in the bushes just in front of the Pembroke bar. There'll be a couple of minutes while the ball is retrieved from, well, at least they're looking in the right bush. Leckie, another bowler to suffer a boundary from his first delivery. And on this occasion, the boundary rider doing a fine job. Pushed across the left-hander on this occasion. He left it thinking it was going to be a wide. It was inside the blue line, and so the umpire lets that one go through. And the scorers just mark it as a dot in the book and online. Leckie again, just giving the right length for Ralston to again find the bushes in front of the clubhouse. This time it's located far quicker, but another boundary just into his arc, and there's no man fielding out there at the moment. One suspects there might be once we get through the power play. The score has now moved on to 63, and Ralston has moved on to 35. Change in the field now. Boundary rider gone from the offside and has gone down to Michael Sharp corner. And this time the right length works for Leckie. He makes the breakthrough. Ralston departs for a well-made 35. The score has, at the fall of the first wicket, 63, and a good partnership for them there. But Leckie takes the first wicket to fall in the 6th over. And that partnership of 63 now broken. Yes, as I say, the Women's T20 World Cup in England and Wales currently underway. New batsman to the middle. I suspect it will be Jake Egan. And Jake Egan it is, who starts with a very quick single. And a good decision not to take the second. And there is the wicket falling. And Ralston on his way. Not even a look back at his own stumps. And then Egan and Balbirnie. Well, a very close one for Balbirnie. He'd want to keep an eye on that, and I'm sure he will. So, the score at the end of 6 overs is 64 for 1. Balbirnie still there on 24, and Egan off the mark with that first ball. There is the construction work going on at Sydney Parade, the movement of the, what is referred to here as the junior mat. It enables double headers to be played on the ground. Now we're outside of the power play. Kian Robertson back into the attack from the St John's end. Field a bit more spread now. Pushing one past the outside edge of Balbirnie's bat. Long on, long off. Deep point. And then a deep square leg. And a deep fine leg. Another one going past on the offside. Robertson learning from his first over. Balbirnie perhaps looking as captain to be the player whom the rest of his team can play around. Egan goes straight down the ground. It's one bounce, and despite a long on and a long off, he finds the gap between them, and he has found the boundary rope again. This is very aggressive play from the Northwest Warriors. They really are keeping that run rate up and being ultra positive, and what a great way to see. This time Robertson finishes us off his over by bowling more a medium pacer than a spinner. It certainly wasn't going to be given any air, and well, Egan let it go through to the keeper, and that is now 7 overs gone with the score on 70. 70 for the loss of Ralston. He went for 35. And whilst the initial onslaught, which had them up at 11 and over after 4, well, can we say that the Northern Knights have dragged it back to a run rate of 10? Well, it will certainly be it's certainly moving in a better direction as far as the Knights are concerned. Unsurprisingly, after picking up a wicket in his last over, Adam Leckie continues from the nursery end. Northern Knights bowlers who found themselves assaulted almost by the Leinster Lightning batsman yesterday. Have come out to find that the Northwest Warriors are looking to follow that example. Tim Tector and Lorcan Tucker both reaching half centuries yesterday. Big blow from Egan, and it beats the fielder and goes for 4. Egan has come out with the same very positive attitude that Ralston and Balbirnie showed at the start. And this one, well, just about clearing the fielder. Rossadair. And again, he's looked to go big. He hasn't got all of it. And the catch is taken. And Jake Egan departs. And Leckie picks up a second wicket with the score on 75. Well, the Knights will be delighted at picking up a couple of wickets. They'll be as delighted as Jake Egan was disappointed. He did get a good look at that one, but unfortunately the boundary on the railway side proving just a bit too deep. And as a result, Egan departs. Ben Kalitz is the new man to the crease, the Warriors wicketkeeper. Another left-hander. Leckie certainly receiving plenty of advice from his teammates at the top of his run. Plenty of blue sky here today. At the moment, just a little bit of cloud covering the sun. And off the mark straight away for Kalitz. A well-placed field prevents a boundary as more commuters, or perhaps shoppers, heading into Dublin city centre on the Dublin area rapid transport trains. End of the over sees the score on 75. 76 for 1. Robertson now into his third over. Well, on this occasion, Balbirnie getting away with one, taking the bottom edge of the bat and not crashing into the stumps. A little cry of ooh, he got it to bounce over them. Doesn't matter how they come, they don't look the same in the book. Hand coming off the bat, taking away the power, and therefore it just dribbled out into the sidelines. See the rest of the Northwest Warriors side down in their tent area, enjoying the weather here at Sydney Parade today and enjoying their captain and a succession of partners putting a good total together for the Northwest Warriors. Oh, another bottom edge works for Balbirnie. You know, if you've paid for all the bats, you might as well use all the bats, and that's what he's done here. Just managing to get it down between Cian Hilton's legs, and then from there it was unimpeded all the way to the rope, and another 4 onto the total. Continuing on the use the entire bat scenario. Balbirnie picks up another single, 8 off the over, 84 for 1 after 9 as we approach the halfway mark in this first innings of this first game today. More cars coming into the car park, people deciding to enjoy what is a beautiful sunny day. Cloud, in fact, dissipating. We're getting more and more blue sky in sight. You can hear that there is a bit of a breeze, but that's just keeping the clouds off us. Well, that is a fine, fine catch, and Balbirnie departs. This one coming off the edge of his bat, flying down to deep third, and Robertson there taking a fine catch, and another wicket falls. And this time Andrew Balboni is the one to depart. And he goes for a well-made, well-crafted 33. Ended up being quite a simple catch for Robertson, but his teammates will be delighted to see the back of the Northwest Warriors captain. Deliberately lifted by Balboni, but deliberately caught as well by Robertson. And Leckie picks up another wicket. .84 for 3. Balboni departs. Lovely bit of camera work by Niall. And again, the replays absolutely exceptional from Niall. We thank him for his technical expertise as well as his practical expertise. Adam Leckie having a fine morning. 3 wickets now.
Yeah, well done.
Scott Macbeth is the new batsman to the middle. One of a pair of brothers, Scott and Ryan Macbeth. I remember them both playing here in Sydney Parade a couple of years ago in the Bob Kerr All-Ireland Cup. Quite firmly to the boundary on this occasion, but fielder out there doing a fine job of ensuring it doesn't cross the rope. Just a single. Ground bathed in sunshine now. Slight change in the field for the left-hander. Fielder stationed in front of the chapel. Down at Kell corner for the left-hander. Leckie comes into bowl. Diggers and compressors and all sorts going on to my left with the redevelopment firmly underway. Leckie on this occasion, one feels just striving a little too far for a full-length delivery, and on this occasion just incurring the wrath of the umpire as he signals wide. Well, it's a big shot, and the fielder, well, he balanced himself for it, but it wasn't to be. He then realised very quickly that he wasn't going to be able to get to it inside the rope. And 6 added onto the total, and another ball into the gardens. This time on the bounce. The bounce big enough to clear the high fence. a better day for tomorrow. One of our regular contributors on the chat. You're absolutely right. It is a great day for it. Given the choice of work or watching some fine cricketers displaying their wares here at Sydney Parade today, I know which I'd choose. And in fact, I know which one I have chosen. I'm sure there'll be a few public servants who will be able to take a half day or avail of flexi time. Come down this afternoon when we'll see the Leinster Lightning again, and they'll be taking on this very aggressive, positive, run-scoring Northwest Warriors team. That could be a cracker of a game. Beth just pushing that one down the ground. His figures at the moment, well, he's the only one to have taken wickets. All three falling to him. And one in each of his overs, the 6th, the 8th, the 10th. Good call from Macbeth. Well bowled by Leckie. Northwest Warriors approaching 3 figures in the first half of their innings. Still with 7 wickets in hand. They'll be looking to push on in that second 10 overs and put up an imposing total against the Knights. Young side, the Knights. Again, bat on ball brings a run. And that is the end of the 10th over. We are halfway through. And the score now 97 for 3 from 10 overs. Beth and Kalitz now will be looking to take this innings by the scruff of the neck in the second 10 overs. And it looks like a further change of bowling to start. That's Carson McCullough. Will come in for his first over. Staying with the spin at one end and pace at the other. Whether premeditated or not. And another left arm spinner, McCullough. We saw him in action yesterday.
Costa.
Oh, dangerous shot. Just managing to clear the bowl up, but he picks up 2 for it, Macbeth. So yeah, remember that All-Ireland Cup game, the Bob Kerr game, when Brigade were down against Pembroke. And the 2 Macbeths opened the bowling and from 10 overs only conceded 20 runs. Or was it 20 overs? Oh, good effort, but the fielder, Robertson, just not able to get enough on it to stop it crossing the rope. And that's a cracking shot. Nice boundary just played away, opened the front leg, beat one fielder by a matter of a metre, and then the second by a matter of momentum. hand getting there, but just not enough of it to prevent the ball reaching the rope. 4 more runs, 100 up now for the Northwest Warriors. And how much further can they take this total? Bit of heat on the ground now that the wind has dropped a little. This one just played down to long off. Kean Robertson will get it back. Two batsmen meeting in the middle for a bit of a chat.
Good colleague.
Again, good straight bat. Brings forth the single. $105 for 3. Get the feeling that the Northwest Warriors players and coaching staff and management will all be delighted with the way that this innings is progressing. Well, this one's in the air. The fielder is coming in underneath it, very steady, and a super catch. And that sees the end of Ben Kellitz. And another wicket falling. $105 for 4 now. Short partnership there between those two. And we'll wait and see who the incoming batsman is now. Just getting out onto the top edge of the bat, and that's what took away the distance. And you can see the fielder, even with the swirling wind, nice and steady, eyes on the ball, hands high, and a regulation catch in the deep brings forth that 4th wicket. Just never really got the right part of the bat onto the ball. And that saw him on his way. "11 overs gone." That came from the final delivery of the 11th over. And now we see the return of Reuben Wilson. Back for a 3rd over. As Macbeth has been joined by Gareth Delaney. Leg byes signalled. We haven't seen too many in the way of extras, and that'll be something that the Northern Knights will feel good about. Wilson then from the nursery end into his third over. Starts with a good delivery. Rollers and compactors and diggers and tracked vehicles all working feverishly on this ground redevelopment for Pembroke. Delaney just bunting one into the leg side, and as a result they get through for two, although an accurate throw might have had Delaney in a bit of trouble. You can see he's run 20 yards past the sticks just to make sure he's safely at home. Short.
Lucky.
Delaney onto it very quickly, steering it quite fine on the leg side. And another boundary you'll see here. Might not have got the full contact he wanted, but he certainly got enough on it to avoid the fielder and find the rope. Robson at third man, coming into the ring on a short third man. Three men, four men out on the leg side. Just one sweeper on Cyril's way. And a fine piece of fielding in the ring. They go for two, but the appeal is half-hearted. Safely there. Delaney again, just using the full face of the bat. Push it forwards, take the single, end the over with the score on 115 for 4 after 12. Two relatively new batsmen to the middle, but they have plenty of overs to go. 8 overs still remain. Carson McCullough to continue.
Hey, you're gone. Come on, Carson.
Nicely flighted ball, forced out onto the offside by Delaney.
Very good.
Gareth, of course, who suffered a horrendous injury fielding for his club last year. A collision of heads left him, well, not at his most beautiful, shall we say.
course.
Beth sharing in the run scoring. The object, of course, is to minimise the number of dot balls. Delaney's call is 2 immediately. He knows he's put it wider of the fielder. The fielder having to come across, cover some ground, and allowed them to get through for 2. Just the 2 will do. As is the way in T20, plenty of batsmen getting themselves in. None of them really pushing on at this stage. The opening partnership of 63, which came in the first 6 overs, well, that was a very good start for the Northwest Warriors, and they've continued on from there. The run rate just dropping slightly below 10 with the loss of wickets in, as I say, the 6th, the 8th, the 10th and the 11th overs. Delaney again looking for 2, and he's decided against it on this occasion, and perhaps wisely. Fine fielding out on the boundary, preventing any further runs. Well, he's taken that on the full. Foot down the track enabled him to get there before it was allowed to bounce and turn. And he powered that one away down to the clubhouse. And 4 runs to finish the over. Super shot this from Macbeth. Almost premeditated, but certainly took it on the full. And once he beat the fielder in the ring, well, there was only one result. It was Al-Azim Ali Beg signalling 4 runs. Score after 13 overs then has moved on to 124 for 4. And this has been quite impressive batting display by the Warriors. Already reaching 120. So they know that the Northern Knights are going to score at more than a run a ball. But whereas in junior cricket, a run a ball is considered a sort of par figure, for these more, shall we say, talented players, well, they'll be looking to get a lot more than just a run a ball. Still 6 wickets in hand, 7 overs to go. Delaney willing just to take the single. Beth clips one away and another single taken. It's been very good thus far, with the number of dot balls and preventing them. 5 bowlers used by the Knights. The pick of them at the moment, almost certainly Adam Leckie. 3 wickets for him. Although they have come at 11 and over. Well, that's a nice shot from Macbeth. The fielder's underneath it. Well, Reuben Wilson it was in front of Consnook. And it came down just too far outside the rope for him. See his feet on the rope. As much as he tried to get rid of the ball before his foot touched the rope, he wasn't able. And another 6 takes the score on to 133 now in the 14th over. And for a final total, well, you get the feeling that the Northwest Warriors are looking for 200 plus. The eagerness to take that first run so quickly. And open up the possibility of a second does require that somebody come on from the tents with a bit of water for these two. After 14 overs, the score has moved on to 134 for 4. 10 coming from that particular Robertson over. Carson McCulloch to continue for his 3rd over. Just 36 deliveries remain. Well, whatever the Northwest Warriors do manage to accumulate over those 6 overs, they certainly are setting the Northern Knights a target that will see positive stroke play for the second innings.
Adam, brilliant! Cross.
Well, that one's just smacked down the ground. He took it on the full. The bowler put his hand down to stop it, wasn't there in time, and nobody behind him could move quickly enough to prevent another 4, another boundary. And we are seeing plenty of those today, that is for sure.
Quick pass. Pass
16 fours and 3 sixes thus far in this Northwest innings.
Brilliant, Paulson.
There it is on the full, just to the side of the stumps. The umpire having to move quite rapidly to get out of the way of that one. Next delivery would have been wide, but the eagerness of the Northwest batsman now is to take on every delivery, and that is the end of the 15th over. And the score now 140 for 4. These two together 4.5 overs now. And they have put on 35 in that time. And there's certainly no slowing of the rate for the Northwest Warriors. It's amazing the quality of the pictures Niall can bring to you. This camera that you're seeing now, actually not a fully functioning camera. The little screen suffered damage. Oh, that is a lovely shot. And again, the fielder can only watch it crash into the Sherwin O'Riordan signs, sponsors of the Leinster Lightning, doing a fine bit of fielding and preventing it going into the hedges. But, wow. Wilson's final over begins with a boundary. And 150 just around the corner for the Warriors now. That's a lovely shot from Delaney. Reminiscent of him a few years ago in the Irish team. This time, playing very sensibly into the gap, picks up another 2. Wilson getting that one on the finger. Eight off the over so far. And another one that is so fine that no fielder has a chance once it got past the keeper. There was a cry of catch it for this one, but just wide of Hilton. And again, Sherwin O'Riordan boards doing a fine job of preventing that ball running down to what I would call the current construction site on Sydney Parade's grounds. 150 up now for the Warriors. It's come up in the 16th over. They have been consistent with their run rate all the way through this innings. The Pembroke flag currently wrapped around the pole, showing just how light the wind is here. Wouldn't even describe it as wind. More breeze. Niall touching wood beside me as I say these things. Short. Macbeth plays it round the corner. Delaney is fast for the first one. Macbeth calls him back for the second, and they get there safely. Well run again. And this pursuit of runs continues, and continues very successfully for the Warriors. Umpire signalling that that's the one for the over. Umpire Aidan Seaver. May have seen him making his way through the umpiring ranks. Seen him at international ODIs and test matches. Fine umpire and a nice bloke. Oh, well, another one finds the boundary. Another one finds an advertising hoarding. But that was nowhere near where the batsman intended it to go. You can see that here. Comes forward, takes the edge. And again, it is the firm of Sherwin O'Riordan doing the fielding beyond the rope. "16 overs have gone now. The score has moved on to 159. Another very good over for the Warriors. 19 coming from that one. Just to remind you that this broadcast on Pembroke Cricket Live. McCullough now coming in for his fourth over. Ruben Wilson's 4 overs now complete. 0 for 47 from those 4 overs. McCulloch now from the St John's end.
Beauty. Oh. Good cost.
Just 4 overs remaining. 160 on the board now with that wide. And surely 200 plus is in the mind of the Warriors at this stage. Which will give their bowlers something to defend.
Yeah.
Big blow from Macbeth, but it will be cut off by one of 2 fielders who could have covered that, but they do get back for a second. These 2 now have put on 58 in this, what has been quite a quick partnership. Oh, Macbeth now starting to pull the tricks out of the bag. Goes for the reverse, hoiks it down.
Come on there, Colin.
For a maximum. Super, super shot that. Out of nowhere. He's been playing with strength, but with normal cricket shots. I say normal, that's the dinosaur in me. Before he goes to the reverse and picks up 6 for that. 169 on the board. Well, this time McCulloch pushes one through. Macbeth looking for another big shot. It wasn't to be on this occasion. It crashed into the stumps, and that is the 5th wicket to fall with the score on 169, and that partnership of 64 before Scott Macbeth departs bowled, and McCulloch picks up another wicket. A fine knock from Macbeth. 35 for him. He'll be pleased with that, as will his teammates. And here is that delivery that saw the end of his innings, just straight through, playing across the line. It was the risk he was willing to take. And McCulloch celebrating with due reverence. Middle stump, well, bent back to 45 degrees, both bails disappearing, and that means the 5th wicket fell with the score on 169, and just 2 balls remaining in this, the 17th over. Next in, Hassan Shahid. Another left-hander in the Warriors lineup. Number 24 on his back.
Come on, Carty. Colin. Colin.
Well, we haven't seen too much in the way of dot balls recently.
Austin. Oh.
Robertson will do the regulation at long barrier stop. And that will bring a conclusion to the 17th over with the score on 170. But now 170 for 5 with another successful over for McCulloch. He has 2. Adam Leckie has 3. But right now we will see the return of Tom Mays. He bowled 2 at the top of the innings when the Warriors were, well, setting themselves up for this very good run accumulation target setting innings. Shahid then the left-hander, joining Gareth Delaney. The breeze has picked up again and the flag has freed itself. Frank Whelan doing a couple of laps of the ground. A few people in Cons Nook as well as outside the chapel of the clubhouse here at Sydney Parade. Tom Mays then. Does Shahid on pace for that particular delivery. Suspecting that Mays will bowl the 18th and the 20th overs to finish out his spell. And Adam Leckie to bowl the 19th, and deservedly so. 3 wickets to his name already. This occasion, Mays looking for a full slower ball. Ended up being just a full toss and a single was taken. So yes, with the way the innings has gone thus far, you get the feeling that 200 is very much in the minds of the batting team. And the bowling team will be very much of the mind of, well, if we keep it under 200, then we've done a good job at the end of this innings. Many thanks to those of you who've joined us today. It's most heartening when you're sat under a gazebo here at Sydney Parade to know that people are actually watching and enjoying this cricket. Delaney just, well, had a slight slip at the end of his first run, and that meant that they couldn't even attempt to come back for the second. The score moves on to 172. At the innings break, we here down in the poshly named media centre will be taking a short break to avail of the facilities. The morning coffee has done its job.
Bit of a small crew.
Yes. Another good full-length ball from Mays, getting past the bat of Shahid. 2 to come in the over, says Aidan Sievers. His partner Azim Ali Beg agrees. So just 14 balls remaining in this first innings of this first game today. Robertson now coming up into the circle from fine leg. Tightening things up in the field now, the Knights. Again, looking for full length, but sliding down the leg side and going past the batsman on the full. He's looking to complete his third over. This time going shorter in length. Delaney, as the bat sound showed, not getting all of it, and that is the end of the 18th over. And the score has moved on to 175 for 5. Northwest Warrior batsman having a brief chat with 2 overs to go. What do you think the chat is? Surely it's, how far can we go? How deep can we go? Whatever the result of these 2 overs, the Knights know that they're going to have to bat and bat well in the second innings if they're to chase down this total. If you are one of those watching us today, don't be afraid to share the link with your colleagues, teammates, friends, boss. I don't know if you're watching him work. Let people know what a fine game of cricket on a fine day we have here on Wednesday, 17th of June, the day after Bloomsday, where Pembroke's own Johnny Bell went for his Gorgonzola sandwich in Ringsend, and Gareth Delaney goes for another 2 runs deep on the offside. Oh, Lecky putting his hands up, and it just cleared them, and it also clears the rope. And as I say, it runs onto the construction site where one of the workers does the fielding for Robertson. Ordinarily, the cliche, a much-needed boundary would come out about now, but the truth of the matter is, they've been hitting boundaries all the way through this innings. And although they will gratefully accept the 4 runs, it wasn't much needed, more much desired. The bowler, well, discretion and valour coming to mind there. That one was hit with some force by Delaney. He's moved on to 38 now. Well, that's not what is needed at the moment for the Knights. Another free run for the Warriors. It takes them on to 182 in this, the 19th over. And that target, as I said, psychological target of 200, still within reach for the Warriors. And the Knights will be doing their best to prevent that from happening. Adam Lecky, who has bowled exceptionally well, picked up a wicket in each of his first 3 overs. Now striving for pace. As a result, just losing a little bit of the accuracy that is required at this stage of an innings. Many thanks for any feedback we get from our viewing public. One of our own stream team here in Pembroke, Charlie Verprek, thank you very much for your message. Just played down the ground for another single. 184 for 5. Halfway through Lecky's final over. Just 9 balls remaining in the innings. Certainly the required rate is going to be in excess of 9. The question is, can the Warriors get it up to 9.5, 10? Short ball, well bowled, took the batsman by surprise. He couldn't quite get the bat up and around in time. 1 for the over is the signal. But a good delivery from Leckie. He has been the pick of the Northern Knights bowlers today. There's no doubt about that. Change in the field, right-handed, left-handed combination, of course necessitating many changes in the field with each single taken. And as well as the Sherwin O'Riordan sponsors. Also like to thank our own club sponsors, CJK, for what they provide to Pembroke Cricket Club. Again, you too can become a sponsor of Pembroke Cricket Club. As Delaney just flicks a full ball down to Becker's barn, past the scorers. Dale all prepared for the end of the first innings. As 1 over left to go, as that 4 concludes the over. And a good over it was, 2 for the Warriors. Delaney doing exceptionally well to pick up that final boundary, which means they're on 189 for 5. And as I suspected, it will be Tom Mays to bowl his 4th over. Ross Adair and Kay Carmichael, the senior players in this Knights side, have done a good job of switching their bowling around. Just the 5 bowlers used. That's 190 on the board. And it certainly shows that the Leinster Lightning can take nothing for granted for this afternoon's game, when the Northwest Warriors will provide the opposition. They've done exceptionally well in this first game, first innings. 190 on the board behind me. Another single. That will be more pleasing to the Knights than the Warriors. No boundaries, the Knights will be saying now. They can get through this over without conceding any boundaries. They will be delighted. Another single. The right-handed, left-handed combination, if nothing else, is ensuring the umpires are getting their steps in. As Ali Beg doing another 40-yard journey. Just 3 balls remaining in this innings. Where are the CJK advertisements? Delaney goes big and maximum. Another 6 all the way. Super shot. And that brings up Delaney's half century. And what a fine half century it's been. Back to the Gareth Delaney of old. And great to see. 198 on the board now. And as I said, the Knights really didn't want to concede any more boundaries. But that has let Delaney get through for what has been a magnificent half century. And he'll be looking to add to that now. Oh, it's certainly tried. There is a fielder over there, but he's not going to stop that. And that will bring up the 200. We spoke about it, about being a target or a psychological level. And they've gone past that 200 now on the basis of 2 sixes by Gareth Delaney. And this is the second one where it is pulled beautifully down to his teammates in the tent and beyond over the covers. Super shot, that. And suddenly this has been a very good over for the Warriors. Another one, but this one has come off the edge of the bat. It's gone straight up, and Hilton takes the catch, and Delaney departs, but for a very well made half century. And that is the end of the innings. A 6-wicket falling with the score on 204. Another good partnership as Gareth Delaney, well, he goes. As Hilton takes the catch that sees the end of the innings. So the Northwest Warriors, he knew it was up there straight away, went looking for it, round and round he goes, and then he waited to see Hilton take the catch, and well, he won't mind that. He's scored a fabulous half century, and he has led his team to a total of 204 for 6 from 20 overs, which means the Northern Knights will require 205 from their 20 overs, and that innings will begin in about 10 minutes. But for now, if you'll excuse me, nature calls. Well, after a break between innings, the Northwest Warriors and the umpires heading out to the middle. And the Northern Knights will be chasing 205 for victory. And we'll see how they get on over these 20 overs. Fabulous morning. Many thanks to all of you who have joined us online today. So the Northern Knights opening batsmen are out there. The fielding side all prepared. And it will be Ryan Macbeth to open the bowling. And opening the batting, then we'll have to check. But it will be no surprise to see Ross Adair and Cade Carmichael in the middle. And we're underway with a dot ball. Well, the highlight of that first innings, apart from the overall total of 204 from 20 overs, undoubtedly that half century from Gareth Delaney. Great to see him back in form and back on the paddock in such a high-profile game. Big swinging bat from Adair. Well, first big blow. There is a fielder after it. It's Jake Egan. And he has taken a magnificent catch. Ross Adair departs again. Cheaply. He went cheaply yesterday. He's gone cheaply today. It was a big blow he made. But Jake Egan has covered a huge amount of ground. Diving catch. And what a catch it is. And the Warriors will be absolutely delighted. They have taken the first wicket with just one run on the board. And Ross Adair heads back to the dressing rooms in the first over. Macbeth getting one to just come off the bottom of the bat. Adair, well, he knew that he was in a bit of trouble from the moment it left his bat. He thought it might have found turf, but you can see from the reaction of the other Northwest fielders heading over to absolutely congratulate and thank Jake Egan for what was a magnificent catch. It's up there a long time. You can see how much ground he had to make, keeping his eye on the ball the whole time and then taking it cleanly in the hands. What a catch. The celebrations themselves will tell you just what a good catch this was. Dare must have thought that he was going to get away with that one, clearing the circle. And Egan coming from inside the circle to just down by the boundary. Oh, the second wicket nearly came about there. An edge flying above Captain Balbirnie. Goes down to the boundary and it's 4 runs, but it wasn't a million miles away. As you can see from this shot here, Balbirnie's hand just short of it, and he ends up on the ground watching it career into the advertising hoardings. Just a little bit outside. James McCollum is the new batsman. Okay, Carmichael still at the non-striker's end. Beth getting a little bit of movement away. And McCollum picking up another 2 runs. Well, that is the first over done. And a fine over it was for the Warriors. All down to a magnificent catch by Jake Egan. He covered so much ground and got to it. So the score at the end of the first over, 10 for 1. And here is that catch again. You can see how much ground Egan has to make, but never takes his eyes off the ball. And then hands out in front of him perfectly. And did a fabulous job of hanging on to that one. First wicket down then, Ross Adair. He's departed. His IP Festival in Sydney Parade now complete. Again, you do notice the difference in class between some of the games we cover on Pembroke Cricket Live and the very cream of the crop. The backing up in the field, the catch from Egan, it's a slightly better level. Of course, talent being a big part of that as well to get you to this level. Well, that one came flying through. It's been given as a wide on this occasion. But McCarthy his home club just across the road from here in Railway Union, the other side of Park Avenue. But he's just improving year on year at the moment, McCarthy. A super stop by the keeper. And that's why it was such a super shot. It came off the inside edge of the bat And still the keeper able to get down to it. And a good ball by McCarthy. It's going to be a tricky chase. The Knights can't let the required run rate get too high. Another one goes through the batsman, through to the keeper. 2 balls remaining in this second over as the Knights have headed off in pursuit of 205 for victory. You get the feeling the Knights need somebody who's going to stay there and get on with it. A tricky combination at times. Oh, that's a good shot from McCullum. Down to the team tents. And repeats the shot. And repeats the score. 8 coming from those last 2 deliveries. And that takes the score on to, I believe, on to 20. Well, they're certainly up with the rate. 10 and over and 10 and over. James McCollum, very capable of putting away the delivery. A lot will rest on the bats of Carmichael and McCullum. And Ryan Macbeth, after success in his first over, to continue from the St John's end. Fielder square of the wicket will just collect, and one more time seeing Egan's catch. Definitely a contender for catch of the festival. And you can only imagine how good Jake Egan felt as he rose back to his feet with the ball safely in his hands. Well, you won't see it in too many textbooks. Carmichael just forced off his feet by the bowler. Trying to come down the track and then just managing to get enough bat on it. Then hesitation, and then finally they take the single. One bounce straight into the fielder's hands. Dot ball. The dart accelerating from Sydney Parade down to Sandymount Station. I wonder if we'll get any more spectators coming into the ground as a result. As I say, school's final over in Railway today. It's an underage as opposed to the full school's final. Oh, that's a cracking shot. That is the biggest shot we've seen. Into the gardens. Still climbing as it passed the boundary, and that is a super shot from McCullum, and he is here and here to play. Onto it so quickly. One-legged shot. That sort of flamingo look to it, but a super shot, and 6 runs on to the total. And certainly the Knights have decided that this run fest will continue. Question being, how many runs will we see in the day over 4 innings? Unlike last night's women's T20 game between England and Ireland, which was a low-scoring, well, I won't quite say thriller, but it was exciting. England 6 down when they reached their target. Macbeth goes past the edge of the bat for the last ball of his second over, and the score has moved on to 29 for 1 off 3. If you want to catch the eye of the selectors, as a Northern Knights batsman, today giving you the perfect opportunity. The Warriors, of course, also involved in the Wild Atlantic Challenge with Connacht and Munster as well. Plenty of games for these Warriors. Oh, a lovely shot from McCullum. He came inside that and lifted it down to fine leg, where it's reached the junior pitch and beyond. But a cracking shot that, and the Knights are certainly after this total of 205, and they're going at it very quickly. Specifically, James McCullum is playing all sorts of beautiful shots to reach the boundary, and that one going a long way. 6 on to the total. The total now 36. We're in the 4th over, and McCullum already on 29 of those 36. That will be a dead ball as Car Park Phil walks in front of the sight screen. You'd think he'd know better, but not on this occasion. Oh, an inside edge. Keeper gets a hand to it. They'll prevent it from running over the boundary, but they won't prevent the single for Carmichael. feels that the Warriors will want to take wickets as the best way of slowing the scoring rate, and if they could get the wicket of McCullum, they would be exceptionally happy. Oh, just in the air, but through a gap in the ring. Craig Young it is who's replaced Liam McCarthy at the nursery end. A stalwart of the Irish side. And going short. Carmichael hooks it out towards Cow Corner, picks up a couple as the fielder down there does his job. And the end of the third over. Craig Young's first, and the score now 41 for 1 off 4. As I said, the best way that Northwest Warriors can slow this scoring rate down is to take another couple of wickets. Egan, who had such a super catch early on, well, if that's the standard of fielding, one feels sure that there will be another wicket soon enough. And definitely pitch 7 has proven to be, well, a batsman's track, but there seems to be a little bit in it for the bowlers too. Oh, that's dreadful from the Warriors. That will be most disappointing on a number of fronts. It goes up in the air. There was a call of mine, and it fell between the two of them. They almost could have caught it between themselves, and that is a shame. Liam McCarthy has swapped ends. Now bowling from the St John's end, and he should have had a wicket there. Another one has gone high up in the air. This time there's one fielder by himself. There's going to be no confusion, and as a result the catch is taken, and in fact it hasn't taken long for McCarthy to, I was going to say to make up for the drop catch, but that had nothing to do with him. He'd done everything right, and that is the end of James McCullum. He goes. A second wicket falls. Here is the one before, and the two of them, there was a cry of mine, and then the person who cried mine wasn't the one closest to it, or with the gloves, I suspect. But here then, in the same over, taken low to the ground, but a good wicket and a second wicket down. And the second wicket has fallen with the score on 43. And James McCullum makes his way back to the dressing rooms. New batsman comes in. Morgan Topping, the new batsman to come in. And the Warriors doing exactly what they wanted to, which is take wickets, because that will be the best way of slowing this scoring rate down. McCarthy bowling with some real pace and aggression here. This one sliding down the leg side. Will be a wide. So many thanks to all of you out there. Over 1,000 devices connected watching this game on Pembroke Cricket Live. Another good shot, and that will reach the boundary. Topping off the mark with a cracking shot. Still a slip in place for the Warriors. Andrew Balboni standing at slip. Came off the bat very nicely. It sounded so nice as well. Afternoon, gentlemen. Leinster Lightning turning up, including the best fielder in the park, Christopher Freitas, with 3 catches yesterday. Leinster Lightning players turning up for their game this afternoon. They'll be interested to see how the Warriors are approaching this. Fine bowling attack they have as well, with McCarthy, Young, Macbeth. 3 good pace bowlers. Causing problems for the Northern Knights already. Oh, signal to no ball. It came off the leading edge, was caught, but the cry of no ball nullifies that. It can change the field. Just the leading edge. Oh, what a shame, it was a no ball. McCarthy, head down, knew that the catch didn't matter. And because they ran the single, well, they will. It has allowed them to change the field for this delivery. Slip has come out. And that's the best answer to a free hit. Absolutely superb bowling from McCarthy. And now again makes changes to the field, knowing that the batsman with free hit was likely to be looking for cow corner. This is a good over from McCarthy. 1 for 20 off 10 balls. Yes, he's going at 2 a ball, but he is creating opportunities. This one in the air again, and it's Egan again, and it's a catch again, and McCarthy picks up another one, and the Knights, well, are they subsiding? The score 51 now for 3. It is Morgan Topping who's heading off, and Captain Carmichael, he's left in the middle by himself. He'll be looking, certainly, for somebody to stick around. Trying to play this one off the bottom of the bat, and Egan, a much easier catch for him this time, but makes just as sure of that one as he did the first spectacular catch. And 51 for 3 in the 5th over. Here is Egan's first catch, the one with the head thrown back, keeping an eye on the ball all the way. And that's one of the 2 he's taken. And the second one, as I say, to get rid of Morgan Topping, well, it wasn't quite as spectacular, but it was just as effective. 3rd wicket down then, 51 on the board. Here is that drop catch again. It went between mine, yours, mine. Oh, another day that could have had a negative effect on the fielding team, but shortly in the same over, another catch was taken. A nice safe catch that was too. That was the 2nd wicket to fall. And then came the 3rd, with the one played out the offside that Egan again covering so much ground here today. Trent McKeegan. And for his first over, what a good time to come in. 2 wickets falling in the previous over. Carmichael drives and drives hard. "51 for 3 from 5 overs. The field still up. We're still in the power play. Captain Balbirnie just asking Gareth Delaney to start warming up. He's looking to get his spinner on as soon as possible. If you are watching this today and you're enjoying it, don't be afraid to share the link with friends, colleagues, teammates, etc. And we do have a second game later on today at 3:30. The Leinster Lightnings will be taking on what is appearing to be a very good Northwest Warriors team. And that's certainly a lot of credit must go to Boyd Rankin and his coaching staff. Don't forget there is a link for donations to Pembroke Cricket Live in the description for this video. We're here today, volunteers, annual leave taken just to bring you this cricket. As Carmichael goes down the ground, it bounces in front of the fielder. And many thanks once again to our club sponsor, CJK, as well as the sponsor of the Leinster Lightning with his signs up everywhere, Sherwin O'Riordan. There is CJK's advertising here at Sydney Parade. Well, violence begets violence, and that was just smacked down the ground with a cross bat. Super shot. Tom Mays in the side as an all-rounder, coming in at number 5. Another good shot. One of the many seagulls that visit Sydney Parade, absolutely unaffected by that, no matter how close it went to him. That is the end of the power play. 6 overs gone, 61 on the board, but from a Northern Knights point of view, it's the 3 wickets down that are the difficulty. And the introduction of spin now in the 7th over, as Gareth Delaney will come on for his first over. Leg spin coming into the equation. Delaney, who will already be buzzing because, well, he scored an absolutely fabulous half-century in that first innings and took the Northwest Warriors over 200 before perishing on the final ball of the innings. Delaney on the mark straight away. Starts with the dot ball. That'll be pleasing for him. Ireland very, very fortunate these days to have 3 leg spinners of such quality as Delaney, White and Hoey. I see David Attenborough's on the camera again today. Local seagulls do enjoy the wide open spaces of Sydney Parade. Little lap around the corner, reaches the boundary down by the players, gets a round of applause from his teammates. Nice shot from Carmichael. It might not have been premeditated, but it was certainly to the forefront of his mind to get onto the front foot and sweep Delaney. Driven down the ground, just making the seagull spread his wings, but not quite take to flight. And he's picked up a wicket. The batsman swinging across the line, and Mays departs, and Carmichael loses another partner as Gareth Delaney picks up the 4th wicket with the score on 67. And the Knights somewhat faltering, if not in run rate, then certainly in wickets. 4 down now as Gareth Delaney picks up his first to add to his half-century load earlier in the innings. Just playing straight across. Many congratulations to we now have the Let Cup with us in the commentary gazebo. .67 for 4 in the 7th over. The field seems just a little bit tighter now.
Love that, lad, love that. Yes, buddy. Ricky.
The Let Cup has now disappeared again. We do have a couple of officials standing in front of one of the cameras. If anyone is over by Cons Nook and watching this, we would ask that perhaps that gentleman might take a step to his left and that gentleman step to his right. And this is the wicket as it was. No reaction from the spectator at all. Spin at both ends now. Hit straight down the ground. Super shot into the sight screens. 1 bounce 4. Scott Macbeth now.
I think somebody just saw it on the phone.
They've all moved now, haven't they? Almost a rugby tackle rather than fielding. Single taken. And Carmichael, finally his stay comes to an end as the 5th wicket falls and Carmichael departs. Well, this Northern Knights batting display not matching that of the Warriors. They're losing too many wickets in the pursuit of runs, and a bottom edge onto his own stumps sees the end of Carmichael, with Charles Swart at the other end. Two new batsmen then at the crease. Score at the fall of the 5th wicket, 73. And Carmichael, well, he opened and he's lasted 7 and a bit overs, but now on his way back to the pavilion. Cian Hilton is the new batsman, the Northern Knights wicket-keeper. And, well, this game not going the way the Knights would have wanted, certainly not this innings. 5 down now in the first 8 overs. And Scott Macbeth with his first wicket of the day. Single taken. Change in the field for Hilton. 2 men behind square on the offside now. And just a single taken. And that ends a first successful over for Scott Macbeth. The score now 75 for 5. There have been 8 runs off the over, but the loss of another wicket. Death by 1,000 cuts, as they say. Well, in cricket, it tends to be death by 10 wickets. Gareth Delaney now into his 2nd over. He took a wicket in his first. And, in fact, 4 wickets have fallen in the last 4 overs. And spin, very definitely the way to go. Local knowledge, of course, of the Northwest Warriors captain, Andrew Balbirnie, his home club. And it's just one of those things. Delaney's appeal was caught in his throat as he realised he wasn't going to get that. Nice bit of fielding, keeps it to a single. And already you can see the scoring rate slowing with the loss of all these wickets. "11 wickets and 279 runs we've seen in just 28 overs. And this one will reach the boundary between 2 fielders. Liam McCarthy the closest, and he was never going to make that. Jake Egan also down here in that corner of the ground. First boundary for a while. Too short from Delaney, short and wide. You won't mind that, though. Sometimes it's those deliveries that actually takes wickets. This time the Seagull does take to flight to get out of the way. Liam McCarthy does the fielding. It's the end of Delaney's over. Wicketless on this occasion. But after 9 overs now, the score 82 for 5. Hilton and Swart, well, they're going to need to stage somewhat of a recovery, but they also don't want to be in a situation where they leave too much to be done. One more over will see us halfway through. Already halfway through the wickets, and still another 20 runs before they get to halfway in the runs. Well, you can see why they've posted 2 men behind square. Oh, that is a lovely shot, lovely placement, lovely boundary. Ross Macbeth, who opened the bowling into his 3rd over now. Dragged down. Gets away with a single, really. But the Warriors won't mind singles. They give you a single every single ball, if they could. This one nicely clipped away off the pads. But again, a single. Each single will embolden the Warriors. Sliding just down the leg side. Almost took out leg stump, but the result is a wide. Another 116 runs required. Just under 11 and over required now. Nicely clipped away. It is going to beat 2 fielders and it will make its way to the boundary again. .94 for 5. And this the 10th over. Bit of a Simpson sky ahead of us at the moment. White fluffy clouds, blue sky. Just needs some yellow writing. There is the boundary. Umpire just checking. The scorer's got that. Oh, that's a big hit. Big hit. Just too short. Into the slot. And beautifully played away. Square on the leg side. And it goes for the maximum. Another 6. And there's no doubt that the Knights, well, they needed over 10 and over to start with. It's still under 11, so they are keeping up with runs required. It's just the loss of wickets that has been costing them momentum and lessening their chances of getting that one clearing everybody. Somebody's availing of the new dugouts. I wonder how comfortable they are. Oh, nicely taken by the keeper. Diving stop to his right. Did all that was needed of him. So yes, those overs 5, 7 and 8. 4 overs, 4 wickets falling in those overs. But at the halfway mark, there's nothing wrong with the run rates. 101. In fact, they're ahead of where the Northwest Warriors were at this stage. However, they have lost 5 wickets as compared to just the 3 for the Warriors in their turn at bat. We do hope you are enjoying these productions of Pembroke Cricket Live, covering the Interprovincial Festival here in Sydney Parade. Noel Walsh, our producer, director, cameraman and all-round genius when it comes to this streaming. As we enter into the last 10 overs of this T20 game between the Northwest Warriors and the Northern Knights. Another boundary. Flying through the air, through the gully region, ending up down by the Wheelfield Road gate. Down at deep third. Nice shot. Lifted safely, knowing that once they cleared the ring fielders, there was nobody covering down there. Another boundary. They'll be looking for 2 here. Will they take it on? They won't. Egan again, the fielder. What a day he's having in the field. 2 catches, one of which, well, he had no right to get there. So halfway to their target now. Both these batsmen feeling that they've seen enough and are willing to take on the bowlers again. What a fine way to spend a couple of days of annual leave. Certainly not regretting the decision to do so at all. Ah, there we go. It's scooped, it's round the corner, but there is a fielder underneath it. And that is another wicket, trying to manufacture runs. Instead, well, Trent McKeegan picks up his first in his second over. And Cian Hilton departs. The 6 wicket falls with the score on 108. And the first delivery of the day. Getting just too much height, not enough distance. It was up there a long time. And the fielder underneath taking a fine catch. And a 6 wicket falling. And wicketkeeper Hilton heads back to the dressing rooms.
I was sure that was gone.
It looked like it should have been.
Yeah, I thought that was into the gardens.
Adam Leckie now, the most successful of the Northern Knights when it came to bowling earlier on. But he comes in to find his side in a bit of trouble. 108 for 6. And the chase down of 205 to win. Well, they're up with the rate, but they're just losing too many wickets. as will be Cocker-Hooper, having taken 6 wickets at this stage.
Nice, Jackie!
McCarthy generating good pace from the nursery end, keeping the pressure on the Northern Knights batsmen. Nelson on the board now in the 12th over. McCarthy's 3rd over. Two for 21 so far. Certainly justifying the selector's decision to call him up to the full squad. A little bit of a collision between bowler and batsman.
Nice, Limo! Nice quiet one here, Liam!
But they got through for the single. Cramped up the batsman, and then it was shoulder charge. Get out of my way. This one in the air. There is a fielder down there, one-handed. He went for it. Great effort, but it couldn't prevent the boundary. But my goodness, that was a good effort to get there. Miller it was with the one-handed attempt. And this would have eclipsed Stephen Egan's catch had he taken it. But all he could do was parry it. And it ran away to the boundary. Beautifully played. Deliberately run down to third man where it nearly hit the Dougals. You heard the sound of the ball hitting the nets. And the run rate again remaining high. But they do need a partnership, the Northern Knights. They do need batsmen who are going to stay there for a few overs. You can see the Dougals just poking out there. 120 on the board now. And again, Miller doing the fielding. What a fine throw. Right over the top of the stumps. Nowhere near the keeper's ankles, which is the standard in junior cricket. This one right over the top of the stumps. End of the over then. 121 for 6. Not even going to ask. Lorcan Tucker and Harry Tector both turning up. Lorcan Tucker with a pressure hose. Swept square. There is a fielder going down and he can't stop it. It reaches the boundary and he lies there as if he's sunbathing. Could be on a beach in Ibiza. However, more importantly, 4 more runs for the Northern Knights. Gareth Delaney it is with this 13th over for his third. Oh, just past. A slip would have taken that. Instead, he gets 4 for an edge.
Come here, fellas.
And whilst the run rate itself is more than adequate for the Northern Knights, 6 wickets down. Many thanks to Amanda Dunlop for providing substance today. Beautiful little pastry delights. This one just pushed down the ground. Single taken. And big open spaces on the leg side. The fielders tending to be on the boundary. And Delaney finishes his over with the score on 132. 11 coming from it. Scott Macbeth now. McCarthy given a rest after another 1 over spell. The tentative reverse missed. Whilst the Warriors' first thought will be for victory and victory only, there are bonus points in this competition. And by the reckoning of my producer, he reckons that a total of 163 is in the area. Oh, edge past the keeper. It will run to the boundary. Unfortunate for Macbeth. Somewhat fortunate for the batsman. Hilton and Leckie. Well, they're doing a fine job. This one getting through to the keeper directly. McCarthy doing the fielding down by Becker's Barn. The Knights are still ahead on runs. The last ball of the over brings forward an appeal. No response from the umpire. But with 14 overs gone, the score now 138. Just 6 coming from that over. Fine over from Macbeth. So another 67 required. And Just 6 overs remain. Just over 11 and over required. 4 wickets in hand. These two came together with a score on 108. They've put 30 on quite rapidly. 3 and a bit overs. So the scoring of runs not seeming to be the problem as Trent McKeegan in for his 3rd over. Fine catch just behind point. Nice diving 2-handed take, and a 7th wicket falls, and Trent McKeegan picks up yet another. He has 2 for the day. 7 down now. The score 138, and that partnership of 30 concluded. And the hole that the Knights are digging for themselves, well, just a little bit bigger. Lovely catch, lovely bit of camera work, and lovely replays. Well done, Niall. Thank you very much. That run rate of 11. Well, it was about that when they started, so they have been keeping up with the runs, but the problem is, like here, another wicket falls. The non-striker looking more crestfallen than the actual batsman, but it is a 7th wicket down. Just 3 more to go. Nearly got away with it, but a fine catch sees the departure. McKeegan with a difficult delivery to face first up. Carson McCullough, the new batsman. Keane Hilton still there. He's in the 30s, joined by Carson McCullough. And they have just 6 overs, less than 6 overs now, to pick up another 67 runs. Well, that will certainly help. 1 bounce 4 down towards the newly laid junior pitch. Oh, well, that is as comprehensive a delivery and a dismissal as you could want to see. A 2nd wicket in the over, 8th wicket overall, score 142. And the middle stump, well, uprooted, ripped from the ground, angled in, playing across the line. So often the demise of a batsman. They miss, you hit, and another wicket for Trent McKeegan. He picks up his 3rd, 2nd one in this over. And with 8 down, surely hope slipping away from the Northern Knights. An unsuccessful trip down to Dublin for the Northern Knights. The way it's looking at the moment, another 63 runs and just 2 wickets remain. New batsman comes out to the middle. Cian Robinson it is who has come out. Carson McCullough back in the shed. Robson takes one to finish the over, and what a good over it was for the Warriors. 2 wickets to fall. And just 5 runs coming from the over. 143 for 8. 62 required, 5 overs to go. And now suddenly we'll see that run rate starting to increase, and increase quickly. The junior pitch has its new underlay. And here is that magnificent delivery. Well, that's the catch early in the over. Back live now. Scott Macbeth to continue from the nursery end, and why not? It's working for them so far. This one hit back past the bowler. They will take a single. Non-striker on the same side as the bowler. And that's why. Didn't want to get in the way. One, 4, 5 on the board now. And another wicket. McBride gets Robinson through his defences. And that is the 9th to fall. It's been a valiant effort by the Knights. They've kept up with the scoring rate, but they've done so at the cost of wickets, and it now looks like they might not even bat the 20 overs. Well, the Northwest Warriors in pursuit of a bonus point in this game, and just getting through bat and pad. And Macbeth delighted to see the back of Robinson. This sets up an intriguing clash this afternoon. The Northwest Warriors, they lost to the Lightning in Breedy in the only game before Pembroke Festival. You can still hear the sounds of construction going on behind me. Just 1 wicket away from victory now. 9 down, 145 on the board. They need another 60 from, well, 4 overs, really. 4 overs and 2 balls. Macbeth to continue this fine spell of bowling by the Warriors. They've gone in search of wickets, and they've been picking them up. And that's the difference here today. Reuben Wilson is the last man in. He's off the mark from his first delivery. Dot ball to end the over. And that is now 16 done. 146 for 9 on the board. It's been clusters of wickets. There was 1 in the first, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, 8th and 10th, 11th. And then again, 2 wickets in the 15th, 1 in the 16th. And that really has ripped the heart out of the Northern Knights lineup today. Six wickets fell as the Northwest Warriors accumulated their 204. And Gareth Delaney then to bowl. from the St John's end. They're going to take every run they possibly can. That wasn't far away from a direct hit. .163 we think is the figure with regards to bonus points. Delaney tossing one up. They will take a single. They'll look for two, will they? They won't take them. And that will leave Wilson to face Delaney. Yes, if the Warriors could pull off a victory against the Leinster Lightning this afternoon, that would leave the Lightning with 2 wins and 1 defeat. The Northwest Warriors with 2 wins and 1 defeat. And the Northern Knights, well, they're leaving with just 2 defeats from this festival. Big blow, and that's going all the way. That's going into the gardens. No sign of crinkled glass today. Been a nice shot. And that brings up 150. 155 for 9 in the 17th over. It's been a good game. We've seen plenty of runs. What are we up to now? 359. 359 runs in a T20. We've seen 50 over games with less runs. As I say, this game now has slipped away from the Northern Knights. It really would be a miracle on ice sort of miracle if they were to reach their target. Do you believe in miracles? .155 for 9. Oh, diving attempt, but another boundary. More runs to the total. Cian Hilton's been out there a while now, accumulating. He's reached 43, and it will be a good personal milestone if he could reach his half-century. Just 8 runs now required by the Knights to deprive the Warriors of a bonus point. And Delaney finishes his over. 159 for 9. That's Delaney's spell done for the day. He ends up with 1 for 32. It was a fine wicket he took. And Macbeth, having taken a wicket in his 3rd over, will be looking to finish out his spell now. 2 for 17. For Macbeth, 1 in his 1st over, 1 in his 3rd. Can he finish it off with 1 in his 4th? He can, and he does. He picks up a wicket. The Northern Knights are all out for 155. It's taken 17.1 overs. 159 all out. So, victory by 45 runs for the Northwest Warriors. And we think that they have picked up the bonus point. Well, what a fine game that was. What a great way to spend a Wednesday morning. And we've got more to come this afternoon at 3:30. 3:30, the Northwest Warriors, having won here this morning, will take on the Leinster Lightning, who won yesterday. So the winners of this festival and the ones that will take the momentum into the Lisbon Festival, which has been reorganised for the end of July. And it's good to hear that that's going ahead again, having been delayed by external factors. A cracking shot that was, but it was Egan who got there with a fine catch. That was the first wicket fall. That was Ross Adair, and thereafter, well, wickets kept falling, and the Northwest Warriors have come out victorious, as I say, by 45 runs. A great win for them, and we will join you again on a separate stream, same channel, Pembroke Cricket Live, and a link will be sent out in the next few minutes. So thank you very much for joining us for this morning's game, and a good game it was too. Thanks to the two teams, and thanks to you especially for joining us. But until this afternoon, from me, Craig Senior, and Niall Walsh at Pembroke Cricket Live, many thanks.